Welcome to El Supercast episode 3. With me today is the substitute Frylock,
Ian Alley Seals.
And returning is the lovely
Mallory.
Marcus couldn't make it today, but the show must go on. For today's awesome episode, we're going to talk about zombies. There's going to be a movie based on World War Z. How you guys feel about that?
I feel excellent, especially knowing the people involved. I believe it's J. Michael Straczynski's working on the script, or possibly Peter David. I actually saw an interview between Max Brooks and George Romero at Comic-Con 08 last year, which was really incredible, and they had really high hopes for the movie.
Mal, how do you feel about that? Are you a big zombie fan?
I'm not a huge zombie fan. I have read World War Z, and I've read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and I'm reading Walking Dead at the moment. I never have high hopes for movies based on books. So...
Really?
No. Yeah. They usually don't work for me. So, it'll depend on how they choose to go at it. So, I'll keep an open mind until I see a trailer or something for it.
Alright, now, so let me ask you this. I know that you're a fellow Mac user, as my good friend over here is.
That's right.
Have you tried any of the zombie games for the Mac?
Such as I can play Plants vs Zombies. That's about the only zombie game I play.
So you have limited experience when it comes to zombie games. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, very limited. I played Dead Rising for a little bit, but I got frustrated, and so I quit.
That's a very similar situation to the experience I had with Dead Rising, which is a wonderful, wonderful game, but I just couldn't get far enough into it. I found the extended story play to be very confusing, and I'm also not particularly good at video games, so I couldn't get very far. But I do like killing zombies, and so that was good.
I was gonna say my problem with Dead Rising was that the text was so small on my TV because I don't have an HD TV, and the aiming system was so wonky. It did not work for me.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. That was exactly the thing that I had going on. With the text was too small, and it's so integral to the game. But then I actually did play it on an HD TV, and it's not actually all that much easier to read.
Really?
It was very disappointing.
Yeah, if they're gonna have the text be that important, make it bigger to read.
You know, I think that's the fault of the developer.
Well, yeah.
That
absolutely
definitely falls on their shoes. I mean, as for me, I enjoy the flash-based zombie games.
They're some of the best. I'm going to do a shout out right now to the game D-Animator, which is a take-off on the old Lovecraftian story, where it's a simple game of a mad scientist sitting there in a silhouette shooting zombies as they come at him. I've been playing this game for years now. It never ever gets old. So D-Animator at bumley.com. It's a wonderful zombie game.
There you go, Mal. You got to check that one out.
Okay, I will do my best.
All right, because that one's, if I remember correctly, that one's the real artsy one. Because it's like two-tone and it's like dark. It's really cool.
Oh, it's great.
I'm going to ask you a hard question.
Bring it to me.
And it's related to zombies.
I'm ready.
Okay. Based on what you've seen so far with the book, can that translate to a movie?
Well, really, it comes down to not just the director, but it really comes down to the screenwriter, because the problem with World War Z in relationship to a film is that it's a oral history book, as in interviews about the quote-unquote zombie war. It's not a standard narrative. There aren't really overlapping characters. I mean, a few, but not really all that much. So to translate that to the screen is very difficult, especially if you want to have a protagonist. I've heard Brad Pitt's involved in the movie. I assume that he's going to want to be all throughout, possibly as the interviewer. And if you read World War Z, the interviewer isn't actually a very integral part to the book. I mean, to find any narrative focus on him is actually kind of difficult. Now, if they can pull it off, it's going to be very difficult, but it will be very rewarding. Unlike Mal, I am very hesitant about books turned into movies, but there are some great ones. There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old Men, two recent Academy Award favorites, both from books and both done excellently, but for every one of those, you have 17 others that just destroy the source material. So if they can pull it off, congratulations to them. But I'm not going to be surprised if it's nothing like the book at all.
All right. I think that would disappoint me, honestly, if they can't, stay true to image that the book is bringing.
And I think that's what we're talking about. We're talking about image. I mean, we're not going to be probably getting a thorough narrative that's straight from the book, but if they can capture the feel, then that's fine enough for me.
Now, here's one thing that I came across that is interesting. The audiobook of World War Z, it's not the full thing. They've edited a whole lot of stuff out.
That's interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine when you told me this, actually, and I didn't realize that that's pretty common for audiobooks. I've never actually listened to I think when I was 10 years old, I listened to an audiobook of Psycho, which was pretty scary. But I think it was actually an audio thing of a movie, so that's kind of weird. I did not realize that when you're looking for audiobooks, you really want to find ones that say unabridged, because they're not that common. I had no idea.
It kind of threw me to a loop, because that's one of the things that I was thinking of getting. Then when I found out about this, I just said, you know what? I'll just stick with it.
But I do believe Mark Hamill is on the audiobook of World War Z, so it might be kind of worth checking out.
I've heard excellent things about the audiobook because they get so many different people to play the characters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I haven't listened to it, but, I mean, I would definitely read the book, but I've heard the audiobook is worth giving a listen to.
Mal, let me ask you this.
Yes.
What do you feel about the movie's 28 Weeks?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Why?
I've just recently gotten into reading stuff about zombies and everything. Normally, I would watch or read anything because I'm easily freaked out.
It'll
very,
freak
very
you out.
easily freaked out.
It'll freak you out. That's for sure.
One of my favorite things about the 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later films was a marketing campaign they did as soon as, well, I believe it was 28 weeks until the release of 28 Weeks Later. They projected a gigantic Contagion sign on the White Cliffs of Dover in Britain.
Nice.
And I think that's just too cool. I'm a big fan of the movies myself.
I enjoyed them. Mal, even if it freaks you out, you gotta try to check them out because there's some good movies.
Yeah. Scary movies aren't my thing. Like, I get nightmares and like it's hard for me to even read like The Walking Dead just because there's visual aspects to it. Like, I could read World War Z, but it freaked me out. Like, I wouldn't read it after a certain time at night.
See, it's weird because Walking Dead actually doesn't give me nightmares, but World War Z, I was freaked.
That thing really freaked you up?
Oh yeah, when there's not images, like when it's text, it messes me up pretty good.
Wow.
Well, it seems so realistic too, like which is a credit to the writer that he was able to write so many different people and so many different perspectives.
Oh, totally.
It's hard to write one or two. To write, a million or however many were in there is an impressive feat.
I'm trying to think that he must have spent at least 3 to 4 years just researching everything.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. In the interview, well, it was actually Max Brooks interviewing George Romero, but he did talk about the book quite a bit. And one of the things, somebody asked him, how much zombie stuff he reads, and he said he doesn't read any zombie stuff. He doesn't read the comics. What he does is he researches geopolitical history, and he researches technological history. So the research he did for World War Z was not zombie related. It was actual political history, which is why I think what Mal said, it seems so realistic, because the zombies are almost incidental to the story. It's a story about catastrophe.
Anything. It could have been flooding. It could have been just a regular war. It could have been biological warfare. It could have been nuclear war. It just happened to be zombies.
This is it. This is the cliffhanger. This is our first two-parter. Episode is over.